This is the Clipsal 500, and the cars are out on their formation lap for the Cairns Australian GT Championship's first race. And Alex, there is drama already for this car.
Yeah, John Martin with big problems there. We can see it looks like something might have broken on the right front, but now the tyre's gone down. We can see it going along and it's lock solid. So these street, we spoke about it yesterday, these cars aren't designed for launching over curbs, so they're getting a hell of a hard time.
This is how we'll look here with Christopher Mies on the pole alongside Scott Taylor. And I can tell you that it's actually Baird who's starting in the 222 car and Emery who's starting in car number 1. So this is going to be a real mix and match across the whole field. We've got a pair of McLarens on the second row. Morecambe's going to be a guy to watch out for because he's going to be very strong. Jonathan Webb is starting that car. He'll hand that over a bit later in the race to Dean Canto. The whole field through is just full of Mercedes, full of Porsches, a lot of Audis. We've got Ferraris out there, Lamborghinis, a lot of new cars. This is the first time at Clipsal for the new Audi R8. The first time we've seen the brand new Mercedes on the right-hand side, which Beto is going to be starting in, unfortunately, the older model Porsche with huge dramas.
Doesn't look good for that car. I mean, if it's got suspension problems this early in the race, there's no way they'll get that fixed. There's chances are they won't have suspension spares in the pit lane. So terrible start for John Martin's season campaign.
Qualifying, particularly the last session when the shadows moved over the track, it cooled down a little bit. We saw the gun drivers take the steering wheel, including that guy, the former champ, the reigning champ, Christopher Mies, who would eventually take pole position. We knew it was going to be exciting. Oh, big moment this one for Griffith.
This was Mark Rivers' first moment for the session. Getting used to his new Mercedes still and pushing hard. Luckily, this one didn't do too much damage in the car. I'm sure is looking like new today.
They've done a pretty good job repairing that. Obviously, with brand new cars and 4 of them being in the country, not a lot of spares around yet for the new GDS SLS AMG car. So, unfortunately, that had a little bit of a nose job overnight, but it is looking okay and ready to go. Bit of duct tape can literally fix anything, doesn't matter what it is. Craig Baird was awesome throughout the session. He managed to put it on the front row in car 222, but this was a huge one. Marcus Marshall somehow getting away without putting that one in the fence, and then a pair of McLarens on the scene just avoiding the danger as well.
That was very scary. Craig Baird was so impressive yesterday. I was really impressed. Only did 3 laps in practice, straight out in qualifying on the front row. So great job there in a car he's not familiar with.
This is a bit of a moment down here. Unfortunately, a penalty has been handed out there to Rod Salmon for turning out Andrew McPherson. And there's also been a penalty handed out for Taylor, who's been put back 5 spots. That guy, though, got pole, but he will not start the car.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's going to be Jeff Emery, 5-time Commodore Cup champ, starting in an Audi off the front row of the Australian GT Championship.
A little bit different to a Commodore Cup car, but Jeff Emery, a really accomplished driver and a very quick driver for an amateur driver. He's very, very quick, but a great mix of pros and amateurs in this race. There's sort of about half the field's chosen their pro, half the field's chosen their amateur, so this will be interesting.
Okay, the most important rules of the game here. Each car must come down pit lane for a compulsory pit stop. Each driver gets given a different time for their pit stop depending on A, where they start on the grid, and B, their driver rating. So if you're an absolute hotshot driver like Alex Davison, you would have a bigger pit stop time than some of the amateur drivers that'll be starting further back. So the first car, started by Jeff Emery, shared with Christopher Mies, will have 1:45 in the pits. Compare that to Baird and Taylor, they only have 1:35, so 10 seconds less between the 2 guys in the front row. I want to single out though, Alex, Roger Largo, starting back in 7th position. His pit stop is 30 seconds shorter than that of the pole sitter. That's huge.
And where this works in the favour of guys like Roger Largo, is that he's a really quick amateur driver, not that much slower than the pro guys. So he'll be in the mix here towards the end of the race, but I'm sure we're going to see guys like Chris Mies coming on strong at the end of the race.
Pit stop window will happen roughly halfway through the race. Oh boy, Cairns Australian GT Championship rolling for its first race of 3. 40 minutes on the clock. We've got a German star on pole alongside Craig Baird, a Kiwi who's made Australia home and is so fast in whatever he drives.
And a wily old fox too, with things like rolling starts. He's got plenty of tricks up his sleeve. And there we go. So
Beto kind of bogged down at the start, got absolutely swamped.
What happened? He went too early. He knew he was going to get done for a jump start, so had to brake. So he didn't get a good start there. Jeff Emery out in front, and Nathan Antunes up to 2nd place with a great start.
Great start for Emery. He'll be handing that car over.
Beto round the outside of Antunes. What a move.
Great move back into second. That was just bravery down there. He wanted to make up for missing the start, and he's done that. So now he can focus on Jeff Emery, but Emery got exactly what he wanted there. He wanted to hang on to that front spot. Greg Crick started the car last year in favour of Mees, and unfortunately dropped back to about 7th on the first lap. So great scenario for car one.
I apologise. It's Nathan Morecambe in that orange McLaren. Nathan Antunes with his headlights on right behind him. But Beardo catching right up to the back of Jeff Emery here. He'll be looking for a passing move, and this is always sketchy. Two cars into turn 8, but good job. But Beardo up the inside into turn 9. That's what I could see playing out as they approach turn 8. And Craig Baird will put his head down now to try and get as much gap as possible before this first round of pit stops.
And that battle between the two McLarens is set to go in here as well. So Morecambe, what a great job he's doing so far. That is the Bathurst 12-hour winning car that he's been given for the weekend as well.
That's the car to have. But interesting thing how this plays out. We see Jeff Emery running a little bit wide there. Craig Baird already pulling a bit of a gap. He's got a second or so up his sleeve. But he's got to go like hell now, get as much gap as possible, because obviously he started as the pro driver. He's got to hand over to Scotty Taylor and hopefully have enough gap up his sleeve, so when Chris Mees and some of those other pros hop in the car, they're not going to overlap him before the end of the race.
Under brakes, and there's another change. So Morecambe's doing a fabulous job here. Found his way up to second after starting on the second row. We go on board with the man who won the very first race here last year, although that was in an Audi. This is a different beast altogether as part of Techno Autosport's 3-car operation here.
See Jeff Emery just being a bit careful on cold tyres. We spoke about this yesterday too, and we saw how long it took the guys to get their lap times down in quali, because they are quite a hard, very durable tyre, and they probably take a good 5-6 laps to get some grip and build the temperature up. We saw Emery running a bit wide, so he's still finding his feet.
Oh, and Emery gives Antunes a lot of room there, very sporting.
Yep.
Antunes will be on the wrong part of the track here. Can he hang out the outside? Not quite. Couldn't make the move stick there, but these boys being very sporting with the room that they're giving each other, and Largo's going with him. He's foxing here.
So Largo's one of the guys I think is going to look really strong by the end of this race with his short pit stop time. If he can get through the traffic a bit, we can see Jeff Emery just finding his feet, getting used to the car, feeling confident with the tyres. You know, it's taking him a few laps longer than the pro guys he's racing against. I'm sure once he gets in his rhythm, his lap times will come down, because he showed good pace yesterday. But plenty of pressure getting piled on him now by Nathan Antunes. The Audis in particular have a lot of downforce, probably the most amount of aerodynamic downforce out of all the cars out on the track at the moment. Their strength isn't the straight line speed, but on track like this, it's not so much of a disadvantage. The replay here of the start, we're going to see Craig Baird just creeping forward a little bit more. See, he went and he's gone, oh, I'm going to get done, so had to lift. And
oh man, he's lucky Morecambe had the awareness to miss him.
Yeah, he's quick on his feet to avoid getting a penalty, but obviously it's hurt him.
He's lucky to get away with this one, because that could have been chaos if Morecambe went up behind him and turned him around in front of the whole field. Oh,
and interesting, because Emery didn't go. Now we couldn't see the green light then. Obviously the race starts when the green light comes on. I'd be interested to know if the green light went on and Emery didn't go. But anyway, Craig Baird did the right thing to avoid a penalty, but very lucky that they all got away with that.
In that brand new AMG, debuting here this weekend. There's 4 of them in the field. Still looking very good. Wow, how close is the braking distance between them as they all jostle for position down there. Already a quarter of a way through this race. That was Tony Quinn, winner of race 3 last year. That's tacked onto this battle. So we've got pretty much every McLaren towards the front of the field here when you include Jonathan Webb and the white one whipping through turn 1. Battle still on for position. Can Antunes get it done under the bumps down here? Not quite. Here comes Peter Hackett. He wants to get around Largo, can't make it stick down there.
So this is turning into a great little battle. The pack's backing up behind Jeff Emery. We've got Jeff Emery, Nathan Antunes having a great battle. And as you said, Largo not far behind. And Peter Hackett and Tony Quinn have tacked onto the back of this little pack. There's no huge gaps throughout the top 10. Jonathan Webb getting up there too. We could probably expect him to sort of find a bit more speed as the weekend goes on. And
oh, what a run. What a run through turn 8.
Antunes will do him up the inside now. Easy out-braking move.
He knew he just needed to be a bit
right
brave.
on the limit, so he actually run wide, only just pulled it up. But anyway, he got the job done. And now he's going to put his head down and try and chase after his teammate, Nathan Morecambe, in the other McLaren. Craig Baird's cleared out. He's 3.3 seconds up the road in front of Nathan Morecambe.
And another 4 seconds back to these guys.
And just done a 21.4, which is a really good lap time.
So a bit of work here, because Antunes, Morecambe and Baird all have pretty much the exact same pit stop time. So when Antunes hands that car over to Elliot Barber about halfway through the race, he's not going to get much of an advantage in the pit lane either. So it's Largo who's the guy who's really going to be the big winner in the pit stop times, but he's under pressure here from Hackett. New brakes put on that car overnight. It's got MV Augusta sponsorship, and there's an MV Augusta Superbike sitting at the front of their pits here this weekend. The full race livery on it. Looks fantastic. How's the mid-corner speed there? He's set that one up beautifully.
Have a listen to this under brakes. Hard on the ABS. You can hear it chattering. You hear the gearbox chattering as the rear wheels are sort of half locked up, but he got the job done, even if it wasn't real pretty, and he'll be off and running. I'm sure we can, we'll see some fast lap times from Antunes now that he's clear.
The new BMW moving forward in the background. That is Stephen Richards in the car. He'll be handing that over to Max Twigg shortly.
So Morecambe with the fastest first sector with a 28.4 there, so he's moving along pretty well too.
Oh, Richo couldn't pull the car up at the end of the straight.
That's Steve Richards in the car. I saw him last night. I was walking out of the circuit. They had the BMW M6 up on the flat patch. They had dramas yesterday with the car bottoming out too much, particularly through the first chicane. Obviously, when you're bottoming a car out too hard, it unloads the tyres and you don't grip. So
not great.
Still, you know, still getting used to the car, learning what it needs for these street circuits. First weekend racing for that team with the GT car. And Steve Richards, probably the busiest guy in the paddock, with his team split in two, running in the Australian GT Championship and the Porsche Carrera Cup Championship, and him driving in both championships as well. So busy boy this weekend. How
good's the variety of cars they work their way through. That's the fastway entry of Simon Ellingham, part of McElrea Racing. His teammates with Tony Walls and the other 650S McLaren. There's 5 of them or something in this race, which is just absurd. So cool. Battle for position still on here. Peter Hackett trying to get around Roger Largo.
GT racing is cool because they've fine-tuned the BOP pretty well over the years. We've got all sorts of different cars. We've got big V8 engine cars, turbos, normally aspirated, 2 doors, 4 doors, all sorts of different cars. And they all do very similar lap times. You can see we've got more than 10 cars nearly nose to tail in this field racing hard.
So we're about halfway to the pit stop window opening, which is good news for Baird. He continues to try and build that lead. Last time by, he was 0.4 of a second quicker than Nathan Morecambe. So that lead nearly out to 4 seconds as he pushes on. Oh, look at that, the Porsche's back out there for John Martin. That's pretty cool. So they've got that thing fixed and back on the racetrack.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the problem was with that car. But as we speak, Nathan Antunes has done a 20.6, which is, in terms of race pace, unbelievable. And so he'll be reeling in Nathan Morecambe quite quickly. Currently 3.9 seconds behind his teammate there.
Oh no, it's the Cooper and Magro car. And this is Cooper at the wheel. That's the car that crashed before the 12-hour started and was taken out of competition. Brand new shell for this car. Went in backwards down at turn 1. Oh yeah.
They've done a good job getting that car rebuilt if it's had a reshell since Bathurst.
Oh.
But he isn't going anywhere.
And the officials are saying, turn her off. So this could be the safety car that'll bunch the field up, which is bad news for Craig Baird, who built that lead.
Currently 9 minutes 22, just over 9 minutes into the race, so it's too early to even think about a pit stop.
Oh, what a helpless feeling.
Yeah, he just couldn't pull the car up before the gravel trap, unfortunately. And easy to do there.
Oh, change for position there. And it was right before the yellow flag started and just before the safety car came out. Safety car on track now.
So maybe, who's in the BMW?
Oh,
Ricky Capo.
Yeah.
Ricky Capo's, now they're...
This is further back. That was, that was a different battle altogether.
So he's overtaken Justin McMillan and realised he's probably done so under yellows. And he's done the right thing and redressed that overtaking manoeuvre. So quick thinking on his feet there. It happens every now and again. Maybe McMillan slowed down for the yellow flags before Ricky Capo could do so safely. So did a good job there redressing that situation to avoid a penalty.
John Magro has to watch on. His entrant is unfortunately stuck down there in the pits. In the gravel pits, I should say. Well, he's back in pit lane, and unfortunately, they're going to drop a lap, if not a couple here, off the back of the pack. So Baird loses that lead, but it has happened before the pit stop window, so they can't pit yet. The pit stop window will open up roughly 16 minutes into the race, so we should go green before the pit stop window happens in 6 minutes' time. It's a bit of an awkward time for a safety car to come out.
Yeah, but nothing. It's an easy decision to make. There's nothing you can do. You don't have an option in terms of strategy. You've just got to stay out. You can see the guys going quite slow. So Craig Baird going quite slowly, just catching the safety car. But as I said, no one's pitted yet, so you're not racing anyone in the pit lane.
The problem is, if the safety car, or if the field is bunched up when the pit window opens, it is going to be chaos down there in the pits, because there are guys with a minute 45 pit stops, and then down the back there are guys with 48-second pit stops. So you can find an entire minute down there in the pits. Speaking of the pits, let's head down there now with Kylie.
Clark Quinn, you're teaming with the old man here at Clipsal. There's a bit of a theory behind that. Tell us.
Yeah, the first theory is we go right to. The second theory is he's got a new car coming for this year, but every time he's brought a new car to Clipsal, he always crashes it. So to get rid of that omen, we're going to share the car this round, and then come Grand Prix, he'll be in his new Aston.
Early days, of course, but what's the scorecard on your day?
Oh, look, he's going really well. He's a great driver. He's a great mentor. He's just a great guy. And, yeah, he's going really well. He's in about P6 at the minute. And, yeah, I'll jump in about 5 minutes' time, and we'll see how we end up.
Have fun out there and keep the car off the walls. Do the right thing. Your dad will pick on you, you know.
Thanks.
Hey, it's sound advice for Clark Quinn, who clean swept the GT Championship round here in 2011 and also 2012. And Dad chimed in for a win here last year in race 3. That was a safety car affected race. Their pit stop time is just a minute 18. So this helps them out, because the guys ahead of them are all pretty much around the 1 minute 35 bracket. So they'll get the better part of 20 seconds back in the pits, which is important. And we should get a restart, Alex, on this lap.
Yeah, well, they've got that car back in the pit lane, so as soon as they got the tractors off the track, which I'm sure they are by now, it will be a very short safety car. But the duo, the Clark and Tony Quinn duo, are another strong combination with a short pit stop time, and both very fast drivers. So it's going to be so interesting to see how the whole pit stop time scenario plays out by the end of the race. You know, we can try and guess exactly what's going to happen, but you never know until the last 5 or 10 laps.
There's the man who won this thing last year, including the Murray Walker Trophy, which was awarded on the Saturday night race, the 1 hour.
And tuners would have loved the sight of those SC boards. This is exactly what he needed. He was boxed up in the traffic early in the race, lost a bit of time, but as soon as he got clear, he was the fastest car on the track. So this is exactly what he needed. Lights out on the safety car. Craig Baird bunching up the field. We've got John Martin there out of sequence. He's obviously laps behind, so he's got to make sure he gets moving and closes the gap to Craig Baird. Yeah. It's not fair on the guys behind him, so he's everyone's got to close that gap. But I don't know why he's leaving such a big gap to Craig Baird. He's really hurting Nathan Morecambe and Nathan Antunes behind him.
Oh, what a restart this is.
And Roger Largo getting past, getting up the inside of Emery at the restart. Great restart there. Clearly Emery isn't comfortable on cold tyres in this Audi, and I can vouch that they are very difficult to drive when the tyres are cold. But we saw him struggle for a few laps to get his rhythm at the beginning of the race, and it's a similar situation now.
He's lost 2 spots because Hackett snuck past as well. And now Tony Quinn, the series owner, is breathing down his neck in the McLaren. That Jamek Pem car is falling like a stone at the moment, and they've got the longest pit stop time out of any car. So Christopher Mies is going to be one seriously busy German at the end of this race.
So there's Stephen Richards in the M6, the new M6. Craig Baird's got 1.5 second gap on Morecambe already.
Oh, here we go, the 2 Techno boys squaring off for the McLarens. Pair of Nathans down at turn 9.
And Tuner's clearly the quicker car at the moment. Hopefully they don't race too hard. I want to see Antunes get up to bed and have a bit of a battle. Not easy cars to overtake in, though, when you get up the pointy end of the field. They brake unbelievably late, these GT cars. They all have ABS systems, a lot of downforce, so short braking distances. And when you've got quite evenly matched drivers, not easy. So, and tuners will be keen to put some pressure on Morecambe.
No blue flags here for Martin either.
Well, he's not holding Morecambe up at the moment. He's they don't show it on the time. You know, a good chunk there, though. Morecambe has actually pulled him in through the first chicane, but he's a good chunk of time up the road. He was up until now. So now that the gap has closed up, I'm sure we'll see some blue flags. But Jeff Emery in the pits, and it doesn't look like they're in any hurry at all for this driver change. Although
the rule is you're not allowed to do more than 55% of a race, and with 22 minutes to go in a 40-minute race, you'd have to say we're pretty much bang on the 55% marker here for Christopher Mees, so they should be okay strategy-wise here to plug Mees into this car. And the man who earned that #1 last year hops in with a bit of work to do, because this is a minute 45 pit stop as they fill her up with dry ice so he can stay nice and cool. Meanwhile, the battle is on here. This new Mercedes is in a McLaren sandwich. This is Matt Solomon at the wheel. Raced in Euro F3 last year. Raced at Macau as well as part of Formula 3 racing. Is a race winner in Asian GT. Actually shared an Erebus car with Mika Hakkinen and won at China a couple of years ago. And he's going to be fending off the Bathurst 12-hour winner, actually indicating to pit lane to say, watch out, guys, I'm coming in.
Job there. It's a pretty busy part of the circuit, and to get over to the indicator to help the guys behind you, help warn the guys behind you that you're heading in there was good heads-up driving.
Two McLarens have got ahead of Martin here as pit stops continue. Dean Canto getting in ahead of Andrew Taplin.
Saw Canto with really good pace in that first quali session yesterday, so we'll keep an eye on his lap times once he gets in the car. He was fastest in that first qualifying session. Marcus
Marshall will also be getting in. Car #1 still in the pits. That is a long pit stop. Minute 45. It is literally a lap and another 20 seconds.
Yeah, look, I actually commented it didn't look like they're in a hurry. But I'm so used to watching people run out, jump in the car, belts flying everywhere, that it's strange to see Chris Mees just strolling out to the pit lane.
And there he goes now, Alex. Boy, he's got some work to do. Not even on the lead lap.
Actually gone down a lap, but as I said, all this, what will seem like a mess over the next 5 or 10 laps, should sort itself out. And if the driver seating and pit stop time system works well, they should all be all over each other in the last 5 laps. So, well, we've seen that in the past, and there's such exciting races when we see it coming down to the wire.
Replay action here. And here comes Rod Salmon.
Up the inside of Ash Samadhi.
Uh-oh. Oh, yes.
Ash just not giving Rod Salmon enough room. The vision isn't good out of these cars, so you can excuse him for not seeing him, but Rod Salmon up the inside clearly there, so hopefully no damage, but that was quite heavy contact, and there's a good chance the Mercedes might have some damage. We'll have to wait and see.
Here comes Jonathan Webb.
Jonathan Webb up the inside of Tony Quinn, his sponsor in the V8 team, so he won't want to tussle too hard with Tony, but the two McLarens giving each other plenty of, two McLaren drivers giving each other plenty of room there, and Ash Samadhi in the pits
with damage.
Now we're on the way back out onto the circuit, so hopefully there's no damage on that car.
Okay, so pit stop cycling through. There is car number 100, and that should be Max Twigg if that car has indeed had its pit stop. Actually, not showing up that it has yet. So that car yet to come into the pits, and now.
And Tuner's up the inside. Good move.
Great move. He's staying with the leader as well here, Craig Baird. The big winner out of all of this, hands down, is going to be Largo. He's only 5 seconds back off the leader, and his pit stop time is 21 seconds shorter.
And he's done a 21.6, so it's a very quick lap time.
He's in for the race win here.
Yeah, he's only 0.6 of a second off Craig Baird's best lap time. But let's keep an eye on Nathan and Chun.
Okay, there he is now. Largo's in. So he's going to get the pit stop out of the way. Peter Hackett follows him in. He'll hand the Mercedes over to Dominic Story, who's a young charger out of New Zealand, recently moved over to Melbourne.
Hackett with a 1 minute 30 pit stop time allocated to him, so he's 15 seconds longer than Roger Largo, and we could see they were going around at similar lap times, same track position, so that's just 15 seconds he's going to lose. He went into the pits right on the bumper, having a good race with one car. He'll leave the pits, won't be able to see him, so that's the way it works.
Grant Denyer getting into the Just Cuts McLaren, and behind him, father and son swap over the driver's seat of the other McLaren, the Sticks McLaren. Jonathan Webb probably sliding the seat forward a bit. And here comes Mees in the background. So Mees goes around these guys. So he's done a pretty good job here to salvage. Geez, must have been turning some hefty outlaps on cold tyres, or colder tyres, I should say.
Nathan Antuna's reeling in Craig Baird. He's got the gap down to 1.2 seconds. He's just done a 20.5. So he's as soon as he's got cleared, and Craig Baird looks like he's pulled into the pits now. Antunas will inherit the lead for the time being, but Craig Baird in the Scott Taylor Motorsport Mercedes in the pit lane to change over to Scott Taylor.
This has to be Antuna's last lap. You're not allowed to do more than 22 minutes in the race if you're a pro driver, so he'll be forced to come back in at the end of this lap. And this guy's got some work to do.
Taking their time. Beto taking his time getting out of the car. Scotty
there goes
Taylor
Largo.
to get in.
So Largo's out. And remember, that car is going to be in the pits for another minute at least. Probably about a minute 15. So can Largo get around, do a full lap, while the leader, the STM Mercedes, is in the pits? That's the question. Off he goes. He's going to try. Needs a really good outlap here. Needs to be clean as Capo slots up the inside of the Audi down at the centre chicane. It's pit stop chaos as Max Twig gets in the brand new M6. Denyer squeaks out in front of the Porsche. And he falls back behind this pack. That's all for position. So they've lost a few. Matt Solomon's picked up 1 or 2 spots as a result of all that.
Look at there's Craig Baird with quite a hefty seat insert there. I haven't looked closely at one of the new AMG GT3s, but I'm assuming they have a safety cell set up like the old car and like the V8 supercar. You've got to pour an open wheeler style seat insert. You don't have a generic seat that anyone can sit in. It's just an empty bucket that you pour your insert into.
And Tuna's cutting it fine. 21 minutes 55. He comes into the pits for his pit stop. That is as close as you can get to going over the max driver time. They'll probably even look at it. It's that close. Still, car 222 sits in the pits. Will it win the race out between themselves and 1, Roger Largo in the Lambo, and 2, car number 1 in the hands of Christopher Mees?
Craig Baird and Scotty Taylor with a 1 minute 35 pit stop time.
Here comes Largo off the last corner right now. He's going to go past them in the pits as they stand there, still waiting for car 222 to get going. Now it's up and running. Oh man, that's a huge, huge change for the lead. They've fallen a long way back. Tony Walls goes by.
Have fallen a long way back, and obviously Scott Taylor's got to get himself up to speed as well.
This is tight.
It's awkward into turn 1. Scotty Taylor's got to get up to speed as quickly as possible. Probably not quite as quick over a lap as Roger Largo's been. That was close with the Honduras Marshall Audi.
And that's Marshall in the car now.
So Marshall pushing hard.
Oh man, that has not worked out well. That safety car has ruined their race. They have lost so many positions. Baird tried to build the lead, didn't work. And this guy, Roger Largo, is looking very, very nice right now. Elliot Barber's hopped into the other McLaren. There it is, currently in pit lane. So the race is on between these 2 cars on screen. Largo down at turn 9. His pit stop time a good 20 seconds shorter than the one of the 61 Beechwood McLaren.
And Tuna's doing he had a really good stint there. He had to fight his way through some traffic. We saw as soon as he was clear, he showed great pace. So he would have been frustrated not to be able to make better use of that pace in clear air. Did a good job getting through the guys he had to get through. Elliot Barber's turn now to show what he can do. Roger Largo coming over the line again, so he's now comfortably in front of the 60-wood Beechwood McLaren. Roger Largo, look, that was close.
Between McLaughlin in car number 2, the sister Jamak Pam car, nearly had the front splitter wiped off. And look at all these positions that he'll have to make up. He got out in front of Clark Quinn. This will be a good battle between the 2 McLarens. Clark Quinn has had a good lap of experience ahead of Elliot Barber and a whole lot more experience in McLarens than him.
So for sure, Steve McLaughlin had to slow down or brake to avoid an accident in the pit lane there. So I'll be interested to see what the stewards thought of that. But anyway, luckily no contact. Roger Largo out in front, approaching turn 8.
Let's get the latest from pit lane.
Craig Baird, you enjoyed that lead out there. How were you finding it?
Our car was really good. Just a matter of staying out of trouble, and you got the pit stop, which we had to contend with, which we're a little bit over on time. So look, in fairness, Scotty's just got to go and circulate. I think I did 3 laps in practice and then qualified it, and I think he got about 6 laps in it. So for a guy that's not a pro driver on a very difficult circuit in a new car, I just said, mate, doesn't matter if we finish 10th or 20th or 1st. It's a matter of just circulating, get it in one piece back on Sunday, and we'll try and carry on.
Great to see you in the category. We've seen you in a Porsche. It's great to see you racing something else.
Yeah, it's always refreshing. I've probably got a little bit stale over the last couple of years, so a little bit remotivated. Even with my DSO role within Porsche, I enjoy it. Everyone says, do I miss the Porsche? Yes, of course I do, but I enjoy being involved with the category both there and Australian GT.
Enjoy.
He's actually won more races than anyone else here on the streets of Adelaide when it comes to this category. Everyone knows his work in Porsches, but he's actually been excellent in this category as well over the years. And here's that battle that we're expecting between the McLarens, although this is the other two. After Morecambe's now had his pit stop, he comes out right in front of Elliot Barber. So he's leapfrogged him in the pit stop process again.
Yeah, and Elliot Barber also doing a good job in his first, I might be wrong there, but his first race in Australian GT. Is that correct?
He did a Sandown race. Oh, no! Watch out! That was close. Oh, man. Greg Taylor.
That car avoids accidents well, because we saw Nathan Antunes doing a great job avoiding Marcus Marshall yesterday.
That's not the place to be doing a U-turn. Gets it done, though.
So that was, again, very fortunate. I won't say lucky, because Elliot Barber did a great job. Quick reflexes and zigged the right direction to avoid that one.
That could have been a shocker.
Too many close calls this weekend, stressing everyone out.
Okay, 8 minutes left in this race, according to our timing screens. And this is on down at turn 9. Again, another spot here
Grant Denyer.
for Grant Denyer. He's pulling that car up under brakes ahead of McPherson.
Grant's...
Man, okay, let's go again. Hooks it on the curb, right in front of the McLarens. Oh, so close. And lucky that hit on the wall wasn't bigger.
Very light contact with the wall. Here we go, on board with Elliot Barber. You can see him lose, but Elliot wouldn't have been able to see what we saw. All he could see was the back of his teammate, and all of a sudden a Audi popped out sideways in front of him. So good reflexes there. He's got to gather things back up now and get on with the job. Nathan Morecambe got a bit of a lead on him. It's a second or so. So Elliot Barber just finding his feet. We'll see if he'll be able to close that gap to Nathan Morecambe. Roger Largo out in front, pulling some really good lap times. 9 seconds in front of Mark Griffith at the moment.
Here comes Tony Walls. Oh, that was close between himself and Griffiths. So this is for second position here. Inside the last 7 minutes, we're on lap 18. And this is going to be tight all the way to the flag. Roger Largo has a commanding 10-second lead over this car. After the contact yesterday, what a result this will be if he can claim second.
Yeah, and we can see it's race taped up on the right front, but Mark Griffith getting the advantage of a 1 minute pit stop time. That's given him great track position, up in second position now, and really in the fight for a podium position. Tony Walls also right in the fight. Great to see these guys in contention for a podium place.
And as this battle goes on, they've got the pack catching them, including Morecambe, Barber, Quinn. So many McLarens in a row here. There is the lap car in the middle there is Taylor. Needs to be careful because he's got some fast approaching guys that are fighting for podiums here. Needs to move that Audi.
And this is what Australian GT is all about, to give the guys like Griffith and Tony Walls a chance to compete for a podium position. They're genuinely in second and third position at the moment, but we can see the two orange McLarens with the headlights on closing the gap up to those second and third place guys.
So, 4 McLarens now hunting the podium. Look at them all.
Tony Walls having a look up the inside into turn 9.
What a job that is.
Beautiful job, very cleanly done. Mark Griffiths getting sideways on the exit before the traction control would have got that under control for him.
Now there's a new trophy introduced this year called the Gold Cup. It's for essentially the best Pro-Am driver or amateur driver that is not racing with a co-driver, so taking the reins himself. Largo, Walls, Griffith, all fighting for that. They're actually going to be first, second, and third in the actual championship, let alone the Gold Cup at the end of this race. 5 minutes to go. Largo in a different league of his own right now. The fight for second is where it's at. It's one of these new GDS AMGs fighting against... The objective McLaren sideways, snaking his way through the centre chicane. Did a good job to catch it, but this is the result. Here comes Morecambe up the inside.
Walls loose under brakes. He's just got to keep his eyes forward and not get carried away in the moment here.
Oh, and
very
Clark Quinn gets Barber.
There
so
we go.
this is absolutely on.
This is what we wanted in the last 10 minutes. Australian GT delivering everything we wanted.
Oh.
Walls making a mistake at turn 6.
And Glenn Wood's hopped onto the back of this battle in the other Lamborghini. So we've got a proper street fight here for the last spot on the podium. Wood looks to the inside of Barber. He's got a great run up towards turn 8. Hang on.
And Clark Quinn right up behind Tony Walls as they approach turn 8. He'll be looking for a move down into turn 9. Glenn Wood will be next. He's going to try and follow Clark Quinn through. He's not quite close enough. So Quinn cleanly up the inside of Tony Walls. Giving each other good room there. That was fantastic. Glenn Wood doing a great job.
Yeah, outstanding. Brother
He's come
of
from
Dale
nowhere.
in the V8 Supercars. Still driving with that M Motorsport team.
But Wallsy running a little bit wide there. No harm done, but did lose a couple of spots. Tony, once we've got into this hard battle with some of the faster cars coming through, he started to get a little bit flustered on that lap. Good to see he's got it back under control. He's now got Glenn Wood right behind him.
Dean Canto's ripping around the track right now trying to catch them as well. His last lap was 2 seconds, sometimes 3 seconds quicker on that lap than the guys that he's chasing. So if this battle continues, as we go down under brakes at turn 4, close racing ahead. They all give each other a bit of room. But look at that, the yellow and black car in the background, the Lamborghini is catching these guys, so we might have another Lambo in this fight. It's a Lamborghini McLaren show at the moment.
All this traffic has really hurt Elliot Barber, but he's showing great pace with a 20... No, that's probably the time Nathan Antunes.
Yeah.
I was going to say he did 20.4.
Man, this has been on after the pit stops. This is why we like this category, because we know that the pro guys will come ripping through late in the race.
Quinn up the inside of Mark Rivers at turn 9. So he's slicing through this field and now up to 3rd place onto the podium. The first race here this weekend. Glenn Wood putting plenty of pressure on Tony Walls. He's trying to find a way past there. Paul Griffith right up behind the McLaren there and running a little bit wide. Keeps it off the wall though.
Wood might be able to pick up 1 or 2 more spots late in the race here. Get himself up to potentially 4th.
Still have just under 6 minutes left in this race.
Very tight down at the final corner.
Just over 2 minutes left in this race, sorry.
So this one will be over very shortly, and because of this battle, Roger Largo's built himself a fairly handy 13.5-second lead.
Roger Largo's done a great job. He's taken advantage of the pit stop time.
Wood's on the attack here. Sharing that car with Justin McMillan. He's a comfortable 50 kilos lighter than McMillan, who's a really big lad.
So that works for you in a way, in that obviously less weight is going to make you go faster, but it also makes it difficult to set the car up, because 50 kilos in the driver's seat makes a huge difference to the corner weights. So I'm assuming Justin McMillan owns the car. He'd get the corner weight set for him, and Glenn's got to put up with it.
Around it.
ABS helps that situation.
They've had issues with the ABS as well, because once the ABS kicks on in the rear tyres, which has been happening a bit, throws all the brake bias towards the front. So then he gets understeer, and the battle is on now as Elliot Barber wants to get that spot back.
And I don't want to speak too soon, but Tony Walls has calmed things down and doing a great job under a lot of pressure from Glenn Wood.
He's called Griffiths again. So he's turned a really good lap here to catch the back of the Hobbs Breath car.
Tony Walls is hitting his marks. He's smoothed things out and doing a great job. Headlights on the objective McLaren. And he'll be looking to try and make up another spot before the end of this race.
We have a 4 or 5 car battle for 4th here. Then there's this guy, Marcus Marshall, trying to rip through the field late in the race.
Marshall up the inside of Dom Story, but Dom Story's held the outside line, or will have the line into the centre chicane. So good battle here for 9th and 10th position in this race. Marcus Marshall, very experienced driver, raced Champ Car, raced V8 Supercars.
They lurched around on the brakes. They also had Mees catching those guys. So Mees is nearly in the top 10 as well. What a drive it's been from him to fight his way back through it. Grant Denyer on debut in the McLaren, second in the championship last year, and in a Ferrari, I should say, has dropped back a few spots here. But this battle for 4th in the dying stage of this race is going to be very, very exciting. Here comes Canto, he's nearly there.
But Canto showing great pace as well. Caught up to the back of this pace. Really impressed with Tony Walls. He's got things back under control and right in the fight here with much more experienced drivers. Glenn Wood right behind him, and Elliot Barber running up, not right up the escape road, but running a bit wide at turn 9. He should hold his position. Canto around the outside, not a good spot to go side by side with. We've seen plenty of accidents there when people have attempted that over the years.
Oh, lurching to the inside. Canto losing a couple of spots all of a sudden.
Yeah, that car, they've had the Buick Motorworks team have had problems with that Lamborghini this weekend. Brand new car with it cutting out momentarily. Now, in qualifying yesterday, it obviously wasn't hurting Dino. It was cutting out under brakes. He didn't even feel it, but obviously that's that same problem rearing its head again in the race here. Right at the end of the race. So that's very frustrating for Dean Cando. Christopher Mees all over the back of Dean Cando. He'll have a look up the inside here.
Oh, here we go. Wood now, finally to the inside of the objective car. Got him. Good one. Barber follows him through, so still pressure being poured on him from behind. Dom Story with the MV Augusta signage on the front of that Merc will be the next one to have a pot shot at the objective owner. But have a look at this for a lead. Roger Largo in the Lambo.
Final lap as well, so he's currently 9 seconds in front of Nathan Morecambe. So yes, he had a favourable pit stop time and all that, but he's taken advantage of it. He's turned fast, consistent lap times and done exactly what he needed to do. So really impressive drive by Roger Largo. And unless anything goes wrong, he's in the box seat to claim a well-deserved win.
What a story this is. This man broke his leg in Townsville in a Carrera Cup crash, similar to Chaz Mostert. Here he is, the next year, in a Lambo, getting the first win of the season in 2016. Cam's Australian GT Championship Race 1 goes to Roger Largo. What a drive. Handled himself beautifully. Morecambe gets second. And this battle further back for 4th, 5th, and everything else is going to be 3 wide all the way to the checkered flag. A few lappers thrown in there as well. Morecambe, Quinn, Griffith, Wood, Barber. Looks to be the order there. Wall, Story, Marshall. And Mees gets 10th. Canto with issues, falls outside the top 10. Fantastic racing back in the pack. But for JBS, this guy has just put in a fabulous drive.
Really well-deserved victory, and that was a huge accident he had at Townsville last year in the Carrera Cup car. Actually, that car was a complete write-off. The motor out of that car is actually my Carrera Cup car this weekend. But I mean, he had horrific injuries in that accident. Not just broken leg, but all sorts of dramas. So, great comeback.
Fantastic work. Roger Largo getting the win here from Nathan Morecambe. Pair of Quins, they're just always towards the front, aren't they? Griffith back there in 4th. McMillan and Wood shared that car for a fabulous result up there in 5th. Tony Walls strong as always. And amazingly, a 2-driver combo has never won here before at Clipsal, despite all the pros in the field. Again, the pit stops work out in the favour of our Pro-Am drivers, and that's what's seen them get towards the front, all the way back to Magro and Cooper. Martin and Teb, their issues started very early, actually, and it doesn't look like Teb will be driving that car this weekend, but that was exciting.